What's up, YouTube? Welcome to my YouTube channel. For those of you that do not know me, my name is Tommy Martin, and this is my beautiful wife,
Phoebe Martin.
And we're going to be talking to you guys about our Step 2 CS experience. But before we get to that, I want you to know that you are greatly, greatly loved, and that you are wonderfully and beautifully created, and that you are capable of far more than you could ever imagine. Alright, so let's get right into it. So our Step 2 CS experience. So we took our CS, I took mine back in...
We took it together.
We took them together, and I took mine in... We took ours...
March 1st.
March 1st. Okay, so it has been quite a while, and we've also...
May 1st.
May
1st.
Okay, so we took ours May 1st, and we've already gotten our scores back and everything, but we wanted to share with you guys our experience of the day and then also our score report to show you how we did. Okay, so Phoebe, you want to share with them what you thought your test day experience was like?
So we stayed in a hotel the night before. We took our exam in Philadelphia. People told us that Philadelphia was the hardest place. We didn't listen to that.
Do not listen.
Because we didn't want to spend money on a flight. So we drove to Philadelphia. It was about a 2-hour drive. Slept in the hotel the night before. Made sure we got a lot of rest. We woke up in the morning and I was nervous. We arrived at the testing center really nice and early, and the whole experience was actually very positive. It flew by. The first case, I was probably the most nervous for, but as soon as I started talking to the patient, it was just like I was in the hospital every day, seeing my patients, getting to know what was wrong with them, getting to know them on a more personal level, trying to make them laugh. That was my goal. For each patient, I wanted to get a little chuckle out of all of them, and that I was successful in doing that. So as soon as I just realized that I was there to be myself and to be their doctor, it was no problem at all. With that being said, though, at the end of the test, I was very nervous because you immediately start thinking, oh my gosh, did I forget to do this? Did I miss this? Did I forget to ask this question? Did I even include that in my note? But just like any exam, you're going to start to wonder what you left out because we're not perfect, but the exam definitely is, it's graded by physicians, so they understand that you're going to forget those things, and it all turned out to be okay.
Right, so before I share kind of a little bit about my experience, what would you say was the best part and also the hardest part or the scariest part of all of it?
So the best part, the best part would be, after leaving there, you kind of felt like you were a real doctor. You diagnosed, was it 12 patients?
12 patients.
Yeah, 12 patients in a row with something, and it just was... The best part was, you always hear about CS, and this is the clinical exam of medical school, and you have to pass this, or residency programs won't even look at you, and to be done and to know that you did well was just probably the best feeling. The scariest part was when I got to the computer at one station. I said, I know exactly what this patient has. How am I going to come up with 2 other differentials? Because it was so clear and obvious what they had. I didn't know what else I was going to put for the other supporting differentials. But that's, an area that I've tried to work on improve since rotation since then, is keeping my differential list much more broad than having it narrow set mine. So that was probably the scariest because, the clock is ticking. And the hardest part was probably walking in the hallway, seeing this one, and not being able to say hi or smile or anything because, it's very strict testing conditions. And we were both on either side of the hallway, so I was trying to read if he was having a good time or a hard time. But there's Tommy smiling away because his exam was going great.
Yeah, alright, so now before I get to my experience a little bit, I just want you guys to know that I did do a video about how to study for Step 2 CS, so I'll make sure to include that below. So my experience was a lot like Phoebe's, except for I don't really get nervous too much. So the day before the exam and even the morning of the exam, I was feeling really good, really confident about going into the exam. And then once you get there, okay, so everyone is kind of uptight a little bit, and everyone's really nervous. And so a piece of advice I'd give you is just be joyful, and like even when you're waiting right before you go to take your exam, just be joyful with everyone. Talk to people, introduce yourself to people, because that's going to help eliminate some of the nerves. Whereas if you don't talk to anyone, you just kind of keep to yourself, that's just like letting all of this build up, and you don't want that to happen, right? You want to kind of loosen up a little bit, get relaxed, and so talk to as many people as you can until they tell you that you need to be quiet, and then make sure you be quiet. And then so going into your first room, your heart's going to be going nuts, you know, it's like and so my best piece of advice at that moment, just think to yourself, I've studied for 3 years now. I am at the best position to take this exam, and I need to walk through this door with the confidence of a doctor and eliminate these nerves, because I've worked my butt off to this point. Okay, so then when you walk into that exam from the very first encounter, treat yourself as if you are already a doctor, and now you're a doctor getting to diagnose the next 12 patients. And that's exactly what I did, and that really helped me to eliminate my nerves and made my whole test experience an incredible experience. And then those 12 encounters, as Phoebe said, absolutely fly by. It'll, you know, in a blink of an eye, you'll be done. You'll be like, holy cow, how did that already happen? And just to touch on, to make sure that you guys know that I don't always have everything together, there's definitely some hard times and some times where I was like, holy crap, how did I not know that diagnosis? Or like, I should have put that down. I should have added that to my note. There's 10 things that I forgot. How did I not include those? How did I not do the workup? How did I not do these things? And all these thoughts will be running through your mind, but I just really beg you to not let it. Because it even happened, you know, because it definitely happened with me, and that could affect your next encounters. So you are going to forget things. Your note is not going to be perfect. Your encounter is not going to be perfect. You may forget a physical exam that you need to do. You may forget a question that you need to do. And you may forget a whole section on your note. But that does not mean that you're going to fail, and that does not mean that you'll do poorly. So just brush it off and keep going on with your exam, and you'll do great. So overall, I thought Step 2 CS was an incredible experience. And as Phoebe said, this is your first chance to get to act like a real doctor for 12 encounters straight, where it's all on you. So this is what you've been studying for 3 years, so you should be super excited to go in there and love on every single patient. And that's something I didn't touch on either. With every encounter, remember, these patients are grading you, so treat them as if that they are your best friend, that they are your mom or dad, that they are someone that you love with your whole heart, which you should for all your patients, and treat them with that manner, and you'll do great. You'll do incredible, because when you show love and compassion to your patients, that goes a long ways. Okay, do you have anything else to add?
Make sure you indulge in a Philly cheesesteak after you're done if you take your exam in Philadelphia. Tommy and I eat a lot of good food, especially after exams. And so, but you know, whatever it is, whether you enjoy eating or getting a great workout in or sleeping for the next 12 hours, like have that set in stone that you're gonna do right after your exam, because you deserve that reward. And no matter what test you take, it's one step closer to achieving your goals. So celebrate that. We celebrated being done. We celebrated getting our scores. We celebrate everything, because you know what? It's a long 4 years, and you have to, you know, reward yourself for these little stepping stones that you keep succeeding at. So.
Right. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to show you our score report, just to kind of show you the breakdown and how it's done and how I ended up doing. Okay, so I'm going to let Phoebe run around really quick and grab the camera so she could show you guys on my phone the score report and how they do the breakdown. Alright guys, so as I show you guys the score report, I want to let you guys know that I'm showing you this so that you know that you can pass as well, because I am definitely not the smartest, and I've never really done good on big board exams or things of that nature, but I want to show you so that you guys know that you can do this. Okay, so I'm just going to show you the overall mark here. Can you see it? Okay, so if you can see here, it says overall pass or fail. So I passed overall, and then it's broken down into 3 different parts. Your ICE encounter, so that's your encounter with your patient, so it says passed. Your communication skills, which it says pass. and then the spoken English proficiency pass. So you can pass you have to pass all 3 of these, okay? So if you do not do as well in one of the encounters, such as say your ICE encounter, maybe you didn't get all the physical exam, but you still got enough to pass, then you're still okay. So you just have to pass each of these, and that does not mean that you have to be perfect in every one of these. It just means you have to do well enough to pass in each of them. So spoken English, your intercommunication skills, and then your ICE encounter. Okay, so that is the score report. So guys, that is the end of this video, but if you have any further questions, we would absolutely love to help you out with them. Alright, so before we go, I want you guys to know
that you are greatly, greatly, greatly loved.
And
beautifully and wonderfully made.
And that you are wonderfully and beautifully created.
Oh, crap. And we would like to encourage you to always pursue your dreams with relentless love and endless passion.
Okay, so she's getting there. But before I end the video, I want you guys to know that you are greatly, greatly loved, and that you are wonderfully and beautifully created, and that you are capable of far more than you could ever imagine. Keep chasing your dreams with endless love and relentless passion.
Yeah! Endless love and relentless passion.